Welcome to Lunch Break Sports.
Welcome back to another episode of Lunch Break Sports. I am your host, Joey Sherman, and I am again here with co-host Friedberg.
What's up again?
And so we are going to be starting with some Eastern Conference recaps. We already talked about the Knicks and the Sixers in the last episode. The Knicks did sweep 1 in 4 games. It was a great series, pretty dominant. But on the other side, we had the Cavs against the Pistons. Now, people didn't really know who was going to win, and we also didn't really know who the Knicks would benefit more from playing. I think the consensus agreement was that, the Pistons knew how to win more, but the Cavs had more raw talent. The Cavs had a lot of firepower on that roster. But the Cavs 1 in 7 against the Pistons, and I think it's important to note that, the teams the Knicks are playing against keep winning in 7.
Yeah, it's definitely important because they're probably exhausted. Even though I think even if they won in 4, I think the outcome would be similar. And I think Knicks would have lost that first game if they weren't as exhausted, but I think they're winning in 5 either way.
And so let's talk about that first game, because in the Knicks versus Cavs Eastern Conference Final, the Knicks were down 22 in the fourth quarter. And now, it's insane to come back from 22. This is not something new to us as in the Knicks playoffs games. Last year, we did this twice against the Celtics when we were down 20. This is just what this team can do, put the ball in Brunson's hands and have him make some plays. And, yeah, I mean, I think the Cavs were exhausted and they kind of were worn out by the fourth quarter, which let us thrive. But I do think it's important to note that, that game really set the precedent for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
If we don't win that game, I don't think we're winning in 5. I think they take another game or 2. It just killed their spirits completely. You could see it in Donovan Mitchell in those press conferences, next time let's just not lose when we're up 22. But I do think it set a precedent, and the Knicks did end up winning in 4, sweeping.
Yeah, it was an amazing series for multiple players. For instance, some of the players that had amazing series, I'm going to talk about Josh Hart. They had this plan that they would just go and help on Brunson and basically force Josh Hart to shoot, which
It worked for a hot minute.
But then Josh Hart hit a couple threes in a row, and then he ended the game with 26 points. He actually had the most on the team. And then another player that really stood out in the series, or for at least the first 3 games, was Mikal Bridges. He was shooting so efficiently. I think he was shooting, his shooting percentages were in the 70s for some of the games, which is unheard of. And, yeah, so.
One player I want to mention is my favorite Knick right now, Landry Shamet, because Landry Shamet shot 11 of 12 from 3. That's 91%. That is ridiculous. For those people who aren't aware of how well you're supposed to shoot, Stephen Curry in his best shooting season from 3 shot 44%. Landry Shamet was 92%. It's insane, and I think he's such an underrated player, and I think he's gotten his recognition now, but I've always really believed in Landry Shamet, both offensively and defensively, and he just did something spectacular, and I'm wondering if he can keep up some of that momentum into the next series, or if he's just going to start missing everything and even the numbers out. But I think there's a really good chance he continues this efficiency.
Yeah, I've said this before. I personally trust Landry Shamet more than Miles McBride, which I think a lot of Knicks fans would disagree. But I just like his shot more. I think he doesn't take as many shots as Deuce, but when he does take them, I'm always confident that they have a very good chance to go in. For instance, in that 20-point comeback, he hit the game-tying 3, and I knew it was going in the second he shot it.
And to be honest, when a guy's shooting 91% from 3, it's kind of hard not to trust him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the Western Conference. Western Conference review. All right, now I am joined by Michael Kreyman.
What's up?
For the Western Conference recap. Now, the Western Conference, it started with Thunder Lakers. This really wasn't that crazy of a series.
Yeah.
Thunder 1-4. nothing much to really talk about. Kind of affects LeBron's legacy a little bit,
Yeah.
but not too much.
If LeBron could have won the series, I think he could be the clear GOAT, but he didn't, so he's not.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been really tough for him to pull that away. But next we have Spurs versus Wolves, which is a nice series.
That was a crazy series. I had the Spurs going into this, and I think, and as we can see now, when we're gonna talk about the next matchup, there's Spurs versus Thunder, but the Spurs have just been amazing with Wemby and all that. And for Wemby not being in your top 10,
Yeah, admittedly, I didn't really have Wemby that high. Much earlier in the season. Obviously, now I can recognize how good he is, and that this isn't really a fluke. Because with Wemby, it wasn't the efficiency that concerned me, wasn't the defense, wasn't the offense. It was really the injury concern, because we've never really seen a guy that looks like Wemby with his height and how skinny he is and his way of playing. We've never really seen that ever work, because all of the tallest and skinniest guys always get injured throughout history, and I was just kind of waiting for that to happen. Was he injured last year?
he was still injured this year some of the games, but I don't know. He won all defensive player.
Yeah, I mean, he won
I think,
defensive
right?
player. He unanimously won defensive player of the year.
He's
I
gonna
mean,
win it for the next 10 years.
He's an amazing player, and I was just a little concerned with if it was like realistic for him to keep doing that, because the biggest question with Wemby was not his shooting, was not his size. It was like, can he stay healthy? And I think showing that he has and taken his team to the finals, there's no doubt in my mind that Victor Wembanyama is one of the best players in the league. So that is my official statement on that. And as you alluded to before, we had Spurs Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. What an amazing series.
One of the amazing series.
It was kind of a little tarnished, I have to say, by the really bad officiating in the Thunder's favor. Like, there were a lot of plays where SGA would just fall on the ground.
I think the last two games, Game 6 and Game 7, where the Spurs won, I think it actually proved a lot. I don't know, the refs were not calling as many flops that Shea was drawing, but Shea had an amazing Game 7 game. His team just couldn't win.
Here's the thing you have to understand, is that the NBA is a business. And if people are really upset that this sport is being ruined because of flopping calls, the NBA has to do something about it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to lose so much money if people aren't tuning in for the finals because they don't want to see SGA falling on the floor all the time against the Knicks. And so I think this is just a great move, great win for everybody. I certainly would like to see the Spurs against the Knicks, not just as a Knicks fan, but as a basketball fan. And it's the West Conference, and now we can talk about the NBA Finals. Finals prediction. I am now joined by both Reed and Michael, and we are going to be talking about the upcoming NBA Finals between the Spurs and the Knicks. So first, where each of us is going to go down the line and give a prediction of who we think is going to win this series and how many games, being fully realistic. We're going to start with Reed. Reed, what do you think?
I am a Knicks fan, and I genuinely think that the Knicks take this in 4. They have been amazing these playoffs. They've only lost 2 games by a combined total of 2 points. And I think that nobody on the Spurs could guard Jalen Brunson.
Okay. Michael, what do you think?
As a Phoenix Suns fan, not a fan of any of these teams, that is a terrible statement. The West is much better than the East, and it's factual. And the Spurs take this. And they win it in, I would say, 6. I think the Knicks could take 2 games sneakily, but when you have a 7'4" guy that could shoot like Curry, pass like Magic, drive like LeBron, I don't know. It's just, who can defend the 7'4" guy? He just played against the Thunder, who were last year's champions, and he just absolutely destroyed them by himself. But yeah, that's my take. But Joey, what's your take?
So I think that this series I think that people are really sleeping on the Knicks and how dominant they've been. And have the teams they've been playing against been not as good as the Western Conference teams? Maybe. I think there's the argument to be made that like sweeping the Cavs and the Sixers is better than sweeping the Lakers and the Suns. I think they are really underestimating how hot the Knicks are right now. And I think the Knicks are going to win in 6. I think in similar fashion to how they won versus Atlanta. I think we just have enough firepower, enough consistency on the team, enough of people who can like. There's so many guys on this Knicks team that I trust with the last shot of the game. Like I trust Brunson, OG, Hart, Cat, McHale, Deuce, and Shamit all to take the last shot of the game, which is insane. Everyone's just perfectly playing right now, and I think one thing that people aren't taking into account is age. Okay, because this Knicks team is much more experienced than the Spurs are right now. And the Spurs were celebrating, they were crying, they were cheering after that Western Conference Finals win, and that's amazing. But the Knicks didn't have that reaction. Their reaction displayed that they thought, job's not finished. And that's why I think the Knicks are going to win this series in 6. Now, we're going to go back around. Reed, can you give me one key player to look at for this series?
Yeah, I think the key player to look at for this series is going to be Mitchell Robinson. I think he is going to be the one to stop Victor Wembanyama, if anyone on the team is. And much like that NBA Cup championship, I think if we guard Wembanyama, I just don't see how anyone on their team is going to be able to stop Jalen Brunson. I think it was 2 seasons or 1 season ago, Jalen Brunson has career high on the Spurs team. And that game just shows how much like defense really matters against Jalen Brunson.
So like you just said, Reed, if you stop Wemby, then you you have a really good chance at winning. The issue is you can't really stop him. And the guy who has 25 speed, Mitchell Robinson, cannot keep up with Wembanyama. I'm sorry, but his right pinky is injured. He could barely move, can barely shoot a free throw. So my key player here is actually De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox has been surprisingly really bad in all of these series. And if he performs, there is absolutely no chance the Knicks win. Because he has had like under 20 points, I think, in every single game when he played the Thunder and the Wolves. So, yeah, what's your take, Joey?
So I think that while those players are important to look at, I think I have a pair of people who are important to look at. And they're called the Wingstop. Where I'm referring to, of course, OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges in a tandem. Because Brunson and Cat, we know they're going to be superstars in this series. If we're being honest, those are our guys. And we know that our bench is always going to give us firepower. I know Landry Shamit's going to be hitting his shots. Deuce is going to be hitting his shots. Jose Alvarado is going to make an impact. Mitchell Robinson's going to make an impact, assuming he plays. And I think the key thing to look at here is who are those other guys that when these guys get double-teamed, when they double Brunson, who is there to make the shot? And I think OG Anunoby coming off the injury is a huge question mark. And Mikal Bridges with his interesting playoff run is interesting to look at as well. Let's start with OG Anunoby. Okay, OG Anunoby is he's a great three-point shooter and he's a great defender. And he's such a key piece for this Knicks team. We traded for him. We traded away RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. That is one of the greatest trades that I've seen from any of my teams because of how amazing he has been for the Knicks. And he really is just a glue guy. And he's coming off of this injury that doesn't look so amazing. He looks better now. He seems to be okay, but I'm still a little bit concerned about his health, and he's going to be a huge question mark and a huge piece if the Knicks can really use him. Another piece is Mikal Bridges, because as people know, he had a streak against the Hawks where he had 0 points in 6 quarters, and it looked like his time in New York might be over. However, he also did have an insane series against the Sixers and another insane series against the Cavs. And I think he is going to be, are we going to see Hawks Mikal or are we going to see Sixers and Cavs Mikal? I think that's a huge question. Okay, I want to talk to you guys about one more thing. Okay, this NBA Finals is going to be an insane matchup, rematch of 1999. Everybody knows this thing's going to be insane. There's a lot on the line for everybody, but I want to ask you, who needs to win this championship the most out of all of the players in this series, including coaches? Who needs this championship the most? We're going to start with you, Reed.
I think it is Jalen Brunson because he has led this Knicks team for 3 years in a row, and I just would hate to see him retire without a ring, considering he's gonna retire as one of the greatest Knicks players ever. And I just think a ring would do so much more for him. I also think this because the Spurs, they're a young team. They have plenty of time to win a championship, and I think they're just gonna keep getting better. The Knicks, on the other hand, they're an older team. They're not old, but they have some older players. So yeah, I think Jalen Brunson needs this.
I think Mike Brown needs this the most. To be honest, if he wins a championship, I think he'll be like a top 10 coach of all time in my opinion, because he's led like the Cavs, the Warriors, so many good teams to the finals. And then on the Spurs, does anyone? If Wemby could win a ring, it would actually be very impressive because LeBron has never won a ring when he was in his third year in the NBA. So, it helps Wemby out in the GOAT conversation. But yeah, that's who I have.
I think that I think all the people mentioned have really important reasons for why they would need this championship the most. I think another player to keep into account is Karl Anthony Towns, because while he's been elite for a while, he hasn't ever got anything to show for it. But I do think that the person who needs this win the most is Jalen Brunson. And while Victor Wembanyama, he could really use this as well for his all-time legacy. I think Jalen Brunson, if he wins this championship, there's a debate that he's the greatest Knick of all time, behind maybe Walt Frazier is in competition with him, I think, for that one spot. But he's definitely one of the greatest Knicks of all time, and I think he would really shape how he's viewed in the years to come. All right, well, thank you so much, Reed and Michael, for being on this segment with.
Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, Joey.
And let's go into the next segment.
Stanley Cup Preview.
I am here with Mr. Stern
Hey, Joey, what's going on?
and Noah Cytrynbaum.
Yo.
And this segment is going to be about the incoming NHL Stanley Cup, because these two guys know a lot more about hockey than I do. So I'm just going to sit here and moderate while they take over the podcast. So here you go.
All right, so Noah, we are on opposite sides of the coin here as far as the Stanley Cup Finals are concerned.
Yeah.
I know that you're going to make the case here for the Carolina Hurricanes, who, hey, I've got to say, they've been really just ripping through the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's not a crazy case to be made. I'm going to make the case for the Vegas Golden Knights. Why don't you tell us why you think the Canes are going to take home the cup?
Well, I personally have a tiny bit more experience watching the Canes, because I'm a Canadiens fan, and we got destroyed we won the first game 6-2 and then lost every game henceforth. And
when you say destroyed, honestly, it was
bad.
It was bad.
It was really painful. I mean, yeah, were we better than the Senators and the Flyers, who got swept? Yes. Did we get swept after winning one game? Also, yes. So, I have had firsthand, I would say, victimhood when it comes to the Canes, and yeah. So that's a little bit of that.
Yeah. So as far as why I'm going to say that Vegas is going to take home the cup here, this is a really new team, relatively speaking, actually one of the newest teams to join the league. They've only been around for about 9 years, and this is the third time that they're going to the Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, first year they were in it.
Yeah, they were in it the first year, and they won it a couple of years ago. So this is a team with some real experience that, the Canes have been in the playoffs a lot recently, but they haven't gone this far like Vegas has.
Oh, so you're saying that they've got cup final experience?
Oh yeah. Big time.
Okay. Cup final. Yeah. I would argue that they've been the Canes have been once again, they're the Carolina Hurricanes. They have been in the playoffs. They lost in the third round in 2025. Before that, in the second round. Before that, in the third. The second in 2022. So you've got they've got a lot of playoff experience. They might not have had as much Stanley Cup final experience, but I think they've made up for that in just general playoff experience. You know, they've had Jarvis and Stahl. I think they've got like their main guys have been there for a few years, and they've really, I think, refined their strategy, their playing, their abilities.
Yeah, and you talked about how during this playoff run, how the Canes unfortunately demolished your Canadians. But when I look at Vegas and what they did recently in the Western Conference Finals against the Colorado Avalanche, a team that at the beginning of the playoffs I would have put money on to win the cup, the fact that the Vegas Golden Knights not only swept but just demoralized the Colorado Avalanche, took out some of their best players in Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon. I mean, they just really have it going right now, and so I think momentum is a real factor here as well. Although, to be fair, I mean, Carolina's got a lot of momentum headed in too.
And I would say that you know, what teams did Carolina just like crushed all these teams. Vegas had to injure the Avalanche's two best players. I personally hate both of them because in the gold medal game against America, they were playing for Canada and they completely sold every chance they got.
Oh yeah,
So,
no, I don't think Canadians will ever forget what Nathan McKinnon did in that.
And Cale Makar was partly responsible for that goal. So yeah, I'm not happy with them. The thing is though, it is year 34 for a Canadian team to not have a Stanley Cup. But guess who fills all these American teams? So, yeah.
Speaking of some of those Canadians, I mean, some of the players and the leadership on Vegas here, you know, when I look at some of these players on this team, thinking about the captain, Mark Stone, who's, I think, been with Vegas for the entirety of its existence.
Yeah, they were with the Senators.
He's a real kind of no-nonsense leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at the coach of Vegas, a guy by the name of John Tortorella, who, if you're a New York Rangers fan, you might be familiar with. He's a guy who doesn't stick around in places for too long. He's not exactly Johnny's and Joe's kind of coach. He's not very touchy-feely. He's not particularly kind. But, man, does he get the best out of his players when it comes to blocking shots, playing defense. He's a brilliant guy. He's not a long-term solution as a coach, but in the short term, when you need,
you only need him for a week.
Yeah, when you need somebody to make a run, John Tortorella is your guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure you mentioned shots blocked. So Carolina's coach Rod Brindamore, he won the cup with the Canes back in the 2010s
as the captain of the team.
captain. Now he's coaching them to the Stanley Cup final, and I've seen when they would block every single shot that the Canadians threw at them. The Canadians have had this problem for a good chunk of the year. They've got some amazing talent that really likes finding space and finding the perfect shot, highlight reel goals. I mean, Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson, Ivan Demidov, Juraj Slavkovsky, they're insane. But they don't have the ability to push through. They like finding space, finesse, kind of like soccer. Doesn't really work too much with hockey, especially with the Canes.
So you're just kind of wishing that your team played more like Vegas, huh?
Yeah, I'm also wishing they play more like Carolina than they might have won. But I think the Canes, it's not just shot blocking. It's also this way of physicality. I mean, they like have crushed all of our players. It's about putting the body on. Montreal is a smaller team. You know, they really like dancing through people, finding space. It really doesn't work when you're fighting a battle of space and they're denying space constantly. Every shot you shoot through, they're hitting, they're blocking. Every time you skate through, they're hitting you. And then they themselves are non-stop throwing pucks at the net. They're not good shots, but they just throw them at the net and it goes in.
And I think something we really have to talk about in this particular final is when those pucks do get through, both of these teams have some pretty hot goaltenders right now. Speaking for Vegas, they've got a pretty young goaltender here who's had a little bit of off the ice trouble that we don't need to get into right now.
He
He's
was
not
innocent.
not necessarily the greatest guy, uh, but Carter Hart, the goalie for Vegas, he's been really the best goalie in the playoffs. And truth be told, when it comes to making a Stanley Cup final run, oftentimes the winning team is not always the team you would suspect, but it's the team with the hottest goalie throughout the playoffs. And right now, Vegas might have that guy.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the past couple years, um, what's his name? Bobrovsky was the Panthers goalie 2 years in a row. He was insane. The Oilers did not have goalies. They
Yeah.
had Skinner or someone else.
Some of the best skill players on the planet, but they just cannot
Yeah.
find goaltending. in
Yeah, I
Edmonton.
mean, so that was a major issue, and I think, look, the Golden Knights basically killed the Avs' best player. Now, did the Avs have great goalies? No, they came from the Devils, so they're not good. But the Golden Knights have they won 12 games and they lost 4. And I would say that the number that the Canes, despite not really going through any real competition, they have gone 12-1. The Canadians were the only ones to win.
Yeah,
So-
and even in that game, I think what did the Canadians have something like 12 shots in that game?
Yeah, I mean, the Canes have equal goaltending in Frederik Andersen.
Yeah.
We saw with the Canadians, we would have been absolutely done first round if we didn't have Jakub Dobeš to keep us in there. Goalies, as a goalie, goalies are the life of the team. They are the most important part of the team. They allow everyone else to do their jobs. And Carter Hart and Frederik Andersen may be great, but they haven't seen Noah Cytrynbaum yet. So, yeah, I've actually been drafted by the Canadians. So, yeah, I mean, Anderson has let up 21 goals the entire playoffs. That's wild.
And, while goaltending, I will agree with you, is really kind of the key for a team winning the cup, we do have to talk about some of these superstars on both of these teams.
All Canadian.
Well, that's not true. But thinking about the Vegas Golden Knights, there is one guy at the top of the food chain there who is Canadian, a guy by the name of
Marner
Mitch Marner.
Marner, Stone, Theodore, Hart.
Well, yeah. But Mitch
Mhm.
Marner in particular, definitely
Canadian.
a major superstar that I'm sure you as a Montreal Canadiens fan are really glad to see the Toronto Maple Leafs having lost out on for whatever stupid reasons that they did.
Arrogance.
But this guy is just leading the way. He's got 7 goals, 14 assists. He's a plus 12 in the playoffs. The way he kind of walked from Toronto, if you're a basketball fan, you could sort of equate that whole scenario with almost like a Luka Doncic like trade. And then there are some other guys on Vegas who are really doing a great job. A Russian, Pavel Dorofeev. I may have just butchered his last name. But he's got 10 goals in these playoffs. And then, of course, gold medal winning American player Jack Eichel, who's not really lighting the lamp, but man, is he making plays in these playoffs. He's got 16 assists heading into the Stanley Cup final here. Really just overall, Vegas has a well-balanced roster of offensive players, really great defensive players, and a coach with a real defensive mindset. And I think that's going to compel them to the championship.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the Golden Knights, their players. Let's look at the Hurricanes. They've got Seth Jarvis, Jordan Stahl. He's a careered player.
Been on Carolina for 20 years by now?
Yeah, something like that. Taylor Hall, some of you would probably know him from the Devils. Jankowski, not related to Miss Jankowski, language arts teacher here. They've got, they've got incredible players. They aren't stars. They're not stars, and I think you don't want stars in a Stanley Cup final.
Well, it doesn't hurt. I mean, I'll take Connor McDavid any day.
Stars are good because they make highlight reel goals. They can finesse through the whole damn playoffs, but it doesn't help in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I would make the argument that every time we have played the Canes, every time I've seen the Canes play, it could just be their black and red jerseys, but they scare me so badly. Their playing style is to crush the other team, deny them space, and throw shots at the net. It's not pretty in any way, shape, or form. It is ugly, and it is brutal, and it is frightening. And I think they don't have a party town. They're not a fun, team necessarily. Brindamore is also a pretty serious guy, not like Torts, but he's pretty serious. And I think they've got players, Jarvis, I know he's very, very, what drives him is fear of failing. So they've got a team that is going to put everything, and it's going to be ugly, and it's going to, be a brutal ending for the Golden Knights.
Well, I think the one last thing to talk about is home ice advantage here. The Hurricanes do have 4 games at home, and they've got those Caniacs that go crazy. Definitely one of the greatest home ice advantages in the NHL. And, Vegas, they've only got 3 games, but boy, do they put on a show at home. I don't like it. It's a little bit more of a transient kind of fanship. So, I do have to admit that Carolina probably has the advantage there, just a number of games at home as well as just the type of fans. But I don't think it can be overlooked how crazy things can get in Vegas and how crazy the crowd can go. And so, ultimately, my pick for the Stanley Cup Final is the Vegas Golden Knights to win in 6 games.
And I think that the Carolina Hurricanes are going to win the Stanley Cup this year.
All right, thank you guys so much, and let's move on.
Playoff logos.
All right, I'm here for my next segment with Remy Friedberg.
Hi.
And we are going to be continuing the playoff logo series. And right now we are in our Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Orlando Magic. Now, what do you think, Remy?
Okay. I like the Orlando Magic one much better. First of all, I love the color scheme. I feel like it's very strong colors and a very futuristic kind of color scheme. And also, I don't really like when there's a person in a logo. It seems kind of weird to me. But overall, like the futuristic powerfulness, it makes it seem more, I don't know, I feel like I would root for those teams. I like that color better.
Yeah, I mean, the Magic recently rebranded. And I think with the rebrand, I'm not sure if I like the basketball more, but the color scheme is definitely better than what they had a few years ago. And I think when they just try to have those sleek and modern logos, I think they did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I like both of those logos better than the current Celtics one, but I don't know. The rebrand definitely makes it seem a lot more powerful and like they're ready to win, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and the fact you said the Celtics logo, that's a really, really hot take among the I mean, that's one of the most classic logos, I think, of all time. They've had that for their whole entire history.
I can tell. That's the thing. You're right, classic, but I'm going for futuristic. I want to see. I don't care about who won in the past. I care who won now.
Okay, so we have the Orlando Magic making the finals, and against them we have the Timberwolves and the Lakers. Now, this matchup is really of one which has a great design. I mean, I love the Timberwolves, but then you also have to take into account the Lakers and how iconic and classic that logo is. I think this is a really good matchup. What do you think, Remy?
So I know I just said before about the classic thing, and even though the Timberwolves one, I guess it's a little more modern, the colors are so dull. And I feel like the Lakers one is so much more eye-catching, and clearly the brand is stronger because I've never heard of the Timberwolves. And again, as someone who doesn't really follow basketball, but the Lakers is much more iconic to me. I know the colors when I see them, and that's what I associate with it because of this amazing logo. So even though it's not as futuristic, I can definitely see a rebrand they could do to make it more. It's just so popular. The colors are so strong, and I just see it when I see those colors.
There's really no rush to change the Lakers logo. It's just
no,
so
there's
iconic.
No rush to. Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I mean, they're like the Yankees of basketball.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the logo. And it's kind of funny because I believe the Lakers actually started in Minnesota. And they were called the Lakers because of like all of the different lakes.
Yeah.
So I
But
think it's kind
overall,
of funny.
like the logo is just so much brighter. Like my eyes are drawn to it when looking between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Lakers is the correct pick here, even though
And the
do
Lakers
love,
is better.
Yeah. And so in the Western Conference Finals, we have the Lakers. So the final matchup will be the Magic versus the Lakers.
Oh, that's really hard.
And we'll do that in a minute with somebody else. But thank you, Remy, for making those tough decisions.
Thank you for having me.
And let's go to the next segment. All right, I'm here for the championship matchup with Naomi Allen.
Hi, guys.
And as I just mentioned, the matchup will be between the Magic and the Lakers. We just talked about both those logos. The Magic, they just went under rebrand. It's like more futuristic, like dark blue, black, white colors. And the Lakers is just kind of, it's purple and it's yellow, and it's just an iconic logo. So tell me, what do you think? Which do you think is the best logo?
I really like the Orlando Magic one because it has the blue and white Israel colors, gotta represent, and it also has stars, which to me look more aesthetically pleasing. And the Lakers, you know, it's nice, it's a classic, Kobe Bryant, but I just think that it's a basketball. It couldn't get more uncreative than that. And I don't really like the purple and yellow together because they're not that pretty.
Jeez, I thought the Lakers were going to win this one, to be honest, because it's such an iconic
What?
logo. But
No,
I think
the stars.
the Magic did really well with their rebrand. Like, if we compare it to the old one, it's a lot more futuristic and modern. It's a little bit simpler, which people were a little bit upset about, but I think it's really grown on me. And the jerseys accompanying them look better. So there you have it. The Orlando Magic is the champion of the tournament. Thank you so much, Naomi, for ending this.
Yeah, of course. I'm so honored.
And let's move on to the next segment.
Skittles Challenge.
All right, I'm here for the final segment of the episode with Mia Eskin.
Hi, guys.
And right now, Mia has claimed that her favorite Skittle flavor is the red Skittle, and that she really does not like the yellow Skittle.
I don't. They're sour.
So I have Skittles, and you are blindfolded, and I'm going to give you some random Skittles, and you have to tell me which flavor they are.
Okay, deal.
Okay? No peeking.
I
No
won't.
peeking.
I have the blindfold on. Don't worry. Trust.
All right, Skittle number 1.
Okay.
Skittle number 1.
Is it in my hand? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, guys. I feel it.
No smelling it.
No
Just
smelling?
putting it, yeah.
Mm. Okay, I need to tell you what color it is.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a minute. It's not yellow. No, it's yellow.
You sure?
Mm. It's sour, but it's not like the yellow sour.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Okay, I'm getting one more taste. Sorry, guys, you can hear me chewing, but okay, I'm gonna guess it's not yellow. Is that correct?
I'm not just put in a Skittle guess, and I'll tell you at the end.
Okay. Okay, I guess orange
Okay.
or red. Orange or red.
No, you have to pick one.
Oh, fine, orange.
Orange. Okay. Skittle number 2.
You're gonna give me all the same color. This one's gum.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Red.
Red. Okay.
I really like it.
Skittle number 3.
Okay, can I cleanse my palate?
Sure.
Uno momento. Palate cleansed.
Okay. Skittle number 3.
Okay.
No, I said
I'm
no
not smelling it. Okay. This one's also gum. Okay, the first one actually, Loki, was definitely yellow, but I don't know. Because that was the most sour out of all the ones I've had. This one's... Wait, can you remind me on all the colors again? It's red, orange, yellow, green.
Purple. We have strawberry is red, lemon is yellow, lime is green, orange is orange, and grape is purple.
Honestly, this could be orange. Orange, green, but I'm gonna lock in orange. And the
You're
first one was
locking in
definitely yellow, guys.
Okay, so you're changing the first
Yeah.
one to yellow.
No, it's just so sour.
Okay, and this one is now orange. All right, we're gonna do what? 5 Skittles total? Does that sound good?
Yeah, what
Okay.
number Skittle was that?
Skittle number 4 right here.
Okay, I'm gonna cleanse my palate one more time. I'm a little nervous right now. Okay.
It's like tense in the room.
I know
Okay,
because I'm
Skittle
like,
number 4's in.
strawberry, red.
Red. Okay. Maybe you can tell the difference. Okay. Finally.
That was just definitely strawberry.
Finally, we have the last Skittle flavor.
Okay, I need to cleanse my palate.
Cleanse the palate.
I actually don't even like Skittles. I only like the
Okay.
red ones.
Okay. Final color.
Yellow.
Yellow?
Huh?
Okay.
I don't like it.
No? You don't like that one? All right. You can take off your blindfold. And
Okay, how many of them are right?
let's go through them. So the
Okay.
first one, you said it was yellow, and that was correct.
Really?
It was yellow. Yeah.
I told you because I didn't like it the most out of all the ones I had.
Mm-hmm. Skittle number 2, you said was red.
Mm-hmm.
It was yellow. Skittle number 3, you said was orange,
It was yellow.
and it was yellow. Skittle number 4, you said you really loved this one and only liked the red Skittles, and this one was definitely strawberry. It was yellow.
Right.
And then Skittle number 5, you guessed yellow.
Okay, so in my defense, I didn't see the Skittles. So, like,
What?
I don't know if you're telling the
That's the whole
truth.
point.
I'm not sure if you're telling me the truth because the only one that was bad was the first one. It was really sour.
Okay, well, what if I told you that we've had someone recording the whole entire thing right behind you and could show you that each Skittle was yellow?
Well, it's a messed up bag, guys. I'm telling you. The yellow ones are so much more sour. I don't know. The third one was so bust. Like, that was definitely strawberry. I'm telling you that was
Well, the
strawberry.
third one you said was orange.
I guess the fourth one was strawberry.
No, they were all yellow.
Okay, so safe to say, thank goodness, guessing Skittle colors is not a college major because that looks like I will not be applying under that. And this is sad because I thought that was my hidden talent. And then when you said the first one, I got really excited. Now I'm like really sad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh well.
Well, now I'm sad. I'm actually sad. I thought I was so good at it.
All right. Well, thank you, Mia, for ending the episode.
Thanks,
and,
Joey.
yeah, we'll see you next time.